Hello everyone. Today is the 13th of May 2025, Tuesday, 5 California time. Okay, so I just wanted to respond to a particular comment. Right, like I said, I try to respond to anti-Semitic comments, anti-race, to what I perceive to be racist comments, right? It's not really a race, but I'm just going to it's anti-Semitic. Anyways, I can't do it. As you can see, right, you notice it says 3 replies because only these 3 are being shown. I posted this. Now I want you to know that after I posted that Jews are not Zeos, I cannot use JEWS. My comments get deleted. I cannot use Zionists. My comments get deleted. I cannot use anti-Semitic. My comments get deleted. So I use, things to in place of them. And when I try to post, right, things, this is not like my first attempt, right, to I actually put in some explanations. I tried several different things. But you can see, right? I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to refresh, right? Refresh. I'm going to hit comments. You notice I made this comment, but it was instantly shadow banned, completely removed. These days, they leave my comments here, but don't post it. But when it comes to Neturei Karta, they just outright delete it. Why is that? Why is Neturei Karta so threatening? Well, because it is the truth. So first of all, this is a comment. They're saying, look at this, 3,000 years of conflict. If your child gets kicked out of 10 schools, are those 10 schools the problem or your child? Okay, so they're saying there's something wrong with the Jews. They deserve what they're getting. And I'm saying, no. What you're seeing right now, the genocide is being committed by Zionists. Zionism is antithetical to Judaism, but I can't say all that because the more I say, the more likely I get shadow banned. So all I can say is Jews are not Zionists, and I have to use replacement words. And as you can say, I know more than you think. That's his response. It walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, then it's a duck. Zios come from these people, right? Okay. So I wanted to realize, okay, I'm going to throw this in there, right? I'm going to let this Palestinian explain why anti-Semitism is bad. But I want to also say that anti-Semitism plays into Zionism. Zionists want anti-Semitism. They want people to push the Jews towards them. This is where it gets complicated, right? Not the conflict between the Palestinians and the Zionists, right? There's a conflict between the Palestinians and the Zionists is very simple, right? They want to take the Palestinians' lands. The Palestinians are the indigenous people. They are biological descendants of the Canaanites, who happen to be the ancestors of the Hebrew, the ancient Hebrew. And so the Palestinians are actually the biological descendants of the ancient Hebrew, the Canaanites, and even they can trace their genetic, they've done genetic tests, and they can trace their ancestry all the way back 10,000 years to the hunter-gatherers of the area. They are the indigenous people. Anyways, native people, and the Israelis, a lot of them are the descendants of Jews from Europe. They have no biological connection. They have no historical connection to that land. And in fact, there is historically no evidence of an exodus. And I'm not the one who's saying that. Shlomo Sand is the one saying that. I have the book, but I can't show you. Anyways, I suggest you buy the book, Shlomo Sand, The Invention of the Jewish People. But Shlomo Sand is, who's Shlomo Sand? Shlomo Sand is the history professor at the Tel Aviv University. Tel Aviv University, the most prestigious, largest university in Israel. So you have to understand there's no historical basis for their claim to the land, and of course there's no religious claims are all bullshit, right? But let's pretend for a moment that it isn't bullshit. Well, the basics of Judaism is, since our banishment from the Holy Land by divine decree, Jews are in exile and are required to be loyal citizens in whichever country we reside, not rebel or wage wars against any people, nation, or country. The Torah forbids Jews from having their own sovereignty. Exile can only end miraculously by God alone, without any human intervention. All mankind will then unite in the brotherly service of the Creator. Okay, this is what the actual Jews said. This is what Judaism says. What the Zionists say, that comes from fricking this. I mean, you can read it for yourself. In 1897, Zionist movement was formed by Jews who defected from Judaism. Zionism is a self-proclaimed social engineering project whose goal is to transform the identity of the Jewish people from a religious community to a material European-style political nationalism, devoid of belief in God and fulfillment of His commandments. The transformation is a fundamental uprooting of Judaism and erasure of the Jewish people. So, first of all, like half of Israelis are not even religious. They are what you call what was it? Secular Jews, which is an oxymoron, right? It's like secular Christian. Like my parents are Christian. Does that make me a Christian? No, fuck no. I'm not a Christian. Just because their parents were Jews does not mean they're Jews. To be a Jew, you need to adhere to the 613 commandments. And one of them happens to be, thou shalt not kill. And the Jews, according to Judaism, the Jews who believe in Judaism do not have this exemption for self-defense. You cannot kill, period. Whenever the Jews win wars, it's by divine miracle. Not, they don't have any war heroes. It's divine miracle. That's how they win wars. It's God, God, made this this miracle happen, and they won the war. So okay. So anyways, I'm kind of getting off base here. So where does Zionism really come from? The root of Zionism actually goes back to freaking the evangelicals. The freaking, how they created their religion, where they are from. This is like a branch of the Anglican Church we're talking about. The evangelicals, right? The Anglican Church, first of all, was created because Henry VIII wanted a divorce, and the Pope refused to give him a divorce. So he created his own church and, told the Pope to go to hell or whatever. And that is how you got the Anglican Church. But the Anglican Church isn't, I don't think everybody who's in the Anglican Church is a Zionist. I think it's just some of the most extreme people. So for example, I believe the Puritans decided to adopt this belief. Anyways, it gets really complicated in that sense, but you can see the origin of Zionism is evangelical, not from Judaism. So if you want to know what the Jews really think, here you go. And Zionists cannot be Jews, because even if they claim to be Jews, they are going against the beliefs of Judaism, which says they cannot freaking create their own country, and they cannot create their own country. They cannot kill. They cannot just steal people's land. Anyways, I'm gonna let this this guy, what is his name? I forgot his name. Mohsen Madawi explain to you why you should not be anti-Semitic. Why it's important to fight against anti-Semitism. And again, anti-Semitism, even beyond his explanation, even when it comes to Jews, is anti-Jewish. I really wish you could please go ahead and read their mission statement from Natura Carta, and read why, in short, why Zionism is antithetical to Judaism. It's all here. It's very short. It's a very short read. If you really want to understand it, you can really talk to these people. There's plenty of videos about it, and you can learn all about that. Really, it gets pretty deep. Anyways, I'm just going to try to make it simple. So listen to
night of the rally. I
this.
believe someone in the crowd said something very anti-Jewish, not just anti-Israeli, but anti-Jewish.
Yes, this was as a walkout on November 9th. And a person comes down the stairs yelling, "Death to Jews." I was shocked, and I walked directly to the person and I told him, "You don't represent us, because this is not something that we agree with." And I took the megaphone and I gave a speech, and I said, "We here are conscious, educated students, and we know how to separate right from wrong. What this guy has said is clearly anti-Semitic against Jews.
Anti-Semitic.
To be anti-Semitic is unjust. And the fight for the freedom of Palestine and the fight against anti-Semitism go hand in hand. because injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So I could not. YouTube refused to let me do this. Explain to this guy. So I can only do it on video. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna post. I think I'm gonna post another. Refused to let me explain. So I made a video. Feel free to peruse. Okay. Thank you for watching.